The topic for today is supposed to be lessons that we've learned from Bersih. And perhaps I can start with the first lesson that we learned through Bersih, and that is that your message must be simple and it must appeal to the hearts and minds of the people. When your cause is easy to understand and it appeals to the hearts and minds of the people, you will have no problem getting their support. That is the first thing we learned from Bersih. The second thing, and I think we did the right thing by transforming Bersih into a purely civil society movement. A lot of support came in for Bersih, and because a lot of people have told me this, because it transformed from a political, a mix of political parties as well as NGOs to a purely NGO movement. But whilst we can take the credit for transforming it, the credit for starting the whole idea of fighting for electoral reform goes to the political parties and the NGOs who started Bersih 1. And I commend them for that. Because without that, and in fact, if I'm not mistaken, it's Sivarasa who came up with the name Bersih, I believe. And it's such a brand name now. It should be registered actually as a trademark. But they started the movement. Because before then, no one thought that we needed to do something about the electoral process in this country. No one realized that there was something very, very wrong about the electoral process. So that is another lesson that we learned, that it's good, movements have to change, movements transform, and I think it transformed into a civil society movement at the right time. So whilst, of course, everybody says we are pro-Pakatan, we keep getting that thrown at us all the time. Well, what I say is this. It is not so much us supporting Pakatan as Pakatan supporting us. And that's not surprising. Because they have always, as I said, please don't die of shock that Pakatan is supporting Bersih, because one of their issues is that they suffered because we do not have free and fair elections. So that's another thing that we learned, another lesson from Bersih. The lesson really being that you have to keep evolving. Now, the third thing that we learned was you never give in to intimidation. We learned that the hard way. They tried everything that they could. They threw everything at us, personally, as well as a group. You all know that story. And in fact, I think we won a lot of support because of the way we were being attacked, I think. This was in 2011. And they went overboard. They wanted to use the ISA, they attacked me personally, and so on and so forth. But so never give in to intimidation, because you give in to intimidation once, they will use it over and over again against you. They need to learn that intimidation will not work. And I think that was not just a lesson for us, I think that was also a lesson for them, and an important one. And I think, as I say, it's not easy. It wasn't easy. It hasn't been easy. It hasn't been easy for all the Bersih steering committee members. But I think at the end of the day, the strength that we got because of you. Because we'd be nowhere without the support of the Malaysian public. And I can tell you, I recall Bersih 2. This was July 2011. When, in fact, I was arrested in the tunnel, the tunnel incident, tear gas and so on. And I didn't realize how many people had come out on that day in the rest of Kuala Lumpur till I got home, because I was arrested and then I was kept in the police station and then sent home. Until I got home and I looked at the net and I couldn't believe the numbers who turned out, if you remember the intimidation on that day, there were roadblocks everywhere. You couldn't get into Kuala Lumpur. But Malaysians were smart. They knew how to make sure they were there right in the center of Kuala Lumpur, near the Stadium Merdeka. Nobody was going to stop them. So the other lesson is, once you take people out of their comfort zone, they realize that it's not that difficult. And they are never the same again. When you pull them out of their comfort zone and get them to overcome fear, they are never the same again. And the country is never the same again. And that's what happened that day. That day, Malaysians overcame fear. So Bersih 3, so about 50,000 over people came out for Bersih 2. Bersih 3 was 200,000 plus people.